In Zacchaeus, the tiny quantity of yeast of good had leavened a huge mass. Only an original small particle had fallen into his heart. They had related my Sermon on the Mount to him, and they had done it so badly, mutilating it of many parts, as happens with reported speeches. Zacchaeus was a publican and a sinner, but not through bad will. He was like one who sees things badly because the veil of cataract covers his eye lenses. But he knows that once the veil is removed, he can see properly once again. And that sick person wants the veil to be removed. Zacchaeus was like that. He was neither convinced nor happy. He was not convinced of Pharisaic practices, which had already replaced the true law, and he was not happy with his way of living. He was instinctively seeking light, the true light. He saw a flash of it in that fragment of my speech, and he hid it in his heart like a treasure, because he loved it. Bear this in mind, Mary. And once again, Jesus is speaking to Maria Valtorta here. Because he loved it, the flash became more and more lively, vast and vehement, and caused him to see good and evil clearly, and to choose rightly, generously cutting off all the tentacles which previously, from things to his heart, and from his heart to things, had enveloped him in a net of malicious slavery. Because he loved it. That is the secret of success or failure. One succeeds when one loves. One has little success when one loves niggardly. One has no success at all when one does not love. In anything. All the more in the things of God, where as God is invisible to corporal senses, I dare say, one must love perfectly, as far as a creature can reach perfection, in order to succeed in an enterprise, in holiness in this case. Zacchaeus, disgusted with the world and the flesh, as he was disgusted with the meanness of Pharisaic practices, so captious and severe for other people, so indulgent for them, loved the little treasure of a word of mine, which reached him by chance, speaking from a human point of view. He loved it as the most beautiful thing that his 40-year-old life had ever possessed. And from that moment, he concentrated his heart and thought on that point. It is not only in evil that man's heart is where his treasure is, but also in good. Did saints perhaps during their lifetime not have their hearts where their treasure was? In God? Yes, they did. And that is why, looking only at God, they passed on the earth without contaminating their souls with the mud of the earth. That morning, even if I had not appeared there, I would have conquered a proselyte, because the speech of the leper had completed Zacchaeus' metamorphosis. At the bench of the excise house, there was no longer a cheating, vicious publican, but a man repenting his past and decided to change life. If I had not gone to Jericho, he would have closed his office, he would have taken his money and come looking for me, because he could no longer live without the water of truth, without the bread of love, without the kiss of forgiveness. The usual harsh critics, who always watched me to reproach me, did not see that, and they could understand it even less. and that is why they were amazed at my having a meal with a sinner. Oh, I wish you never judged, leaving that task to God, you poor blind people who cannot even judge yourselves. I never went with sinners to approve of their sin. I went to remove them from sin, because they often had only the exterior aspect of sin. Their contrite souls had already changed into new souls, living to expiate. So was I with a sinner? No, I was with a redeemed soul, in need only of a guide to stand up in its weakness of a soul risen from death. How much Zacchaeus' episode can teach you. The power of upright intention that excites desire. Upright desire that urges one to seek deeper and deeper knowledge of good and to long for God continuously until one reaches Him. True repentance that gives the courage of abnegation. Zacchaeus had the right intention of listening to words of true doctrine. When he heard some, his upright desire urged him to greater desire, and thus to uninterrupted research for that doctrine. The research for God, hidden in the true doctrine, detached him from the mean gods of richness and sensuality, and made him a hero of renunciation. If you want to be perfect, go sell what you have and follow me, I said to the rich young man. But he did not do that. But Zacchaeus, although more hardened in avarice and sensuality, was able to do it, because through the few words related to him, like the blind beggar and the leper cured by me, he saw God. Can a soul that has seen God find any more attraction in the little things of the earth? Is that ever possible, my little bride? And again, when he says, my little bride, he's speaking to Maria Valtorta.